Sweet, man. Here we are.
All right.
So how I've been doing it is I just I don't tell people, obviously we just started since we have another video recording going at the same time, but
yeah.
I've been doing it where I'm just talking to people. I'm like, all right, yep, we already started, and they're just like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
I have no idea. But then I'm like, all right, that's kind of like an asshole way to start. Yeah. Just not tell people, they might say something they don't want to talk about.
Yeah, it's like, nope, you have
just
no choice.
Exactly.
You're already organic as fuck.
But yeah, that's cool, man. Here we are. We just did a podcast. So for people who don't have the context, we just did a podcast on a Freelance Network podcast. Hosted by Luke. And
Shout out Luke.
Cassie. Yeah.
Shout out Cassie.
Yep, and Will as well. He's in the background.
Shout out Will.
That's it. Yep. He can, yeah. So they got a cool fucking thing going.
Yeah.
On
No.
Man.
No. Shout out to them. You know, they're doing their thing, and as long as you're doing your thing, you're doing something, right?
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, I think as long as you can. I'm just trying to get this fucking. It was really awkward how this name was going on there. Okay. Dope. There we go. Yeah. They honestly started out of such that was their truth of because they're freelancers, and the other the dude Will, he has 85 episodes already of a sports podcast that they do. See, I don't fucking do sports or watch or pay attention or follow teams, so I would watch it out of just respect, but I just don't understand what's going on.
No, exactly.
But the actual respect from that I take is you did 85 episodes of a podcast.
Yeah, goddamn,
that is commitment,
that's
man.
grind.
Even if you just do audio, still it's just I don't know if they do video, but fuck, man, that's crazy.
That's
I'm on,
a grind, dude.
BOPCAST itself. Well, first I had Millennial Mind podcast, but I did some episodes with that. But BOPCAST, we're on this might be 20 or something, 20 something.
Dude, I did 4 or 5 of my own, and then I was like, dude, I'm just sitting at a fucking table talking to myself for an hour. I was like, all right,
it was just you.
No guests on any of them.
See, I did that.
It was cool. It was cool because it was just literally it was cool because it just felt like I was talking to myself. I was getting random thoughts that I didn't that weren't portrayed. It was just shit in my mind that I spoke.
It's not the same of thinking it when you're saying it.
No. It's so organic when you're just speaking off of and I didn't really hold anything back on those, and I didn't plan for any of them. I literally just hit record and just started talking. Didn't even plan a topic, dude. Literally all of them are just random organic. So it was cool, but at the same time I wanted to bring guests in. So now at my apartment we set up a dope little spot to do them. So I'm gonna start bringing guests in, but it's fuck, dude, I need to make time for it.
Guests are the best because they fuel it. Guests are automatic or are free marketing.
Yeah.
Other than the fact that obviously you're doing it for the guest. The way that I think about it is if you have a guest on, you have an obligation to the guest to make it really good and then to send them everything. You know what I'm saying? So it's just there's that. It's a pro and con, but it's actually basically all pros.
Yeah, it's more of a responsibility, and you get more content out of it at the end of the day. And I think it's just so much more for the listeners. It's so much more engaging
because it feels like they're in the conversation.
Exactly,
with you, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
And I try to do that. I hope that those listening, I hope you feel that way.
Yeah, it's just
what I try to do. But
it's just if you're just sitting there talking to yourself, it's is this a meditation or something? This person's
or
just
I'm
talking
just
to me.
really, am I that narcissistic? That
Yeah. I'm just gonna talk to myself.
I did the same thing. So I started. The thing was and I've said this so many goddamn times. People don't want to listen to me say this anymore. But when I had a couple friends tell me I should start it because I talked about starting it, and I had friends that weren't my close, because my closest friends hear me talk every day.
Yeah,
right? So they didn't really care. But they do care. They still watch some episodes that are interesting to them. If I have some hometown people on, but I had people that were just on the soccer team or just people that I knew, and they were nah, you should start one. I would want to listen to you talk. So I was all right, word. So then I started one and did the same thing as you, the first 2 episodes, I think. But I sat down and I had not really a plan. I didn't write it, but I had a book that I was reading. So I was going through things that I thought were interesting.
Yeah.
And I had the headphones on, so it was just me in there. It was cool. It was good. I liked it. But yeah, once I realized, because I was where am I going to go with it then? I'm not that funny. I'm not a comedian. I can't rap for an hour. I'm trying to add my talents in. Nah, it has to be people.
Yeah. Exactly. It's just much more interesting that way. for sure.
Yeah, conversation too. I mean, plus like you're in a zone, you know, like you're
Yeah.
locked in. Like I guarantee, like the first minute of that podcast we were on, like you were like just maybe thinking about it, and then after a minute, once you start talking about like what you do and realize that these people are genuinely interested.
Yeah.
Like they give a fuck about
No,
because
exactly.
they don't know that.
Yeah.
Even I like have worked with you like so much extensively.
Yeah.
And there are some details that I didn't know.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So, like when you realize that people give a fuck, like that changes the shit. Like,
Yeah,
it
no,
changes the
100%.
thing.
Yeah, it becomes like a genuine conversation.
Yeah, rather than just like
bullshitting.
Yeah, you know what? They do a really good job of
they
interview style because I can't do that well. Like even with the podcast that I run for the company, like it could easily just be 1, 2, 3. All right, question 1, this, right? But like they do a good job of doing that, but also weaving through the conversation.
Yeah.
Like off the bat, like
that's
with, like minimal experience.
That's what's so important with podcasts. I feel like is being able to like. I feel like you should almost have like one question written down, and then from there you should just ask questions based off the conversation.
One at the end.
Yeah, yeah.
At least, or like something that you're trying to get to, because
Yeah.
then you don't know how you're gonna get to it, but it's probably gonna get there.
Yeah, because like I feel like when you start off and you just talk, like I feel like you should be listening to what they're saying and then coming up with your question off of what they're saying.
Yes.
And then it just all ties together a lot.
That's what I like to do because I don't like to have. And Luke was like, "Hey, can you come in before?" And like, unfortunately, I couldn't because I had a lot of work to do like for school. But I was like, "Dude, you know me, bro. Like, I don't plan these things. Like, I sent him like 8 or 10 questions for you that I wanted to know and that I thought people would want to know, but."
No.
I don't like to like. It's not my style to plan it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
And they did a great
other
job.
Style is.
Yeah.
You know, which is crazy. And shout out to my friend Mark Metry. I met him through LinkedIn. He like he's like writing a book now. He's been on Amazon series and stuff, and like really huge. Like blew up pretty well on LinkedIn, and like he does a similar thing where like it seems like he has questions that he wants answered for each guest, but it doesn't seem like it's like question 1 this, like it's not really interview style, and that's a different thing as well. And like he's interviewed my dream people to interview, people like Dave Asprey, Aubrey Marcus, like these type of people, like so then there's that, like, because then you're like, okay, I have this person's time. What's my goal here? Is it to answer my questions? Is it to answer public's questions? Is it both? Is it to talk about their book? Is it to talk about their LinkedIn? It's like you only have an hour.
Yeah.
So
no, exactly. Yeah.
You don't want to waste people's time.
Yeah, no, I get that. That's the tough part of it, is just like being able to not just drag on a conversation and be able to like actually get value out of it for the audience.
Yeah, because I've been there at doing my own podcast in person with people and like not being able to reel it back, and it's like, I'm gonna lose this battle. Like it's not a battle. It's literally just like this person is gonna go off, and like unfortunately this isn't what I thought it was.
Yeah,
it happens very rarely because at this point, like I can kind of weed people out. But like going back to the social media, which like we're not gonna talk a lot about, but like there's people that I have on that I had a perception of them from their page, and then in person it was just like. It was just like it wasn't pinned down, like it wasn't like a coherent thing. It was just everything coming at me.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not gonna mention names, and like they're not bad podcasts. Like it's still a good podcast, but when it's not what you thought it was, you're like, oh shit, this person's just like not that good at these. Like,
yeah.
They had a different expectation. Like is it on me? Like was it my bad for not telling them? Like, but I don't tell people shit before I do.
Yeah.
Down, so.
You just do them. Yeah. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, you gotta be prepared to just like fucking go, man.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, no, I agree.
So, what made you want to come to this state, man? Like, this state is not like doesn't seem like a state that people like. How could I don't know? I feel like people go Jersey, nah, we're just gonna go to New York, or like, nah, we're just gonna go to Pennsylvania. They either want the hustle, the fast life, or they want the slow life.
Yeah.
Jersey's got a little bit of everything, but there's a fuck ton of people here, and a lot of them are assholes.
Dude, like
I lived here my whole life. So I can say that.
Dude, I love Jersey.
Yeah, me too. Represent, man. I fucking love the state pork roll. Fuck yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, baby. Yeah.
But yeah, like I love Jersey. Yeah, I think the reason why I came here is pretty like normal in general. Like I have my parents are divorced. My dad lived in Jersey at the time when I moved here, and my mom lived back in Massachusetts. So it was the easiest place for me to move with like the least amount of overhead. So yeah, stole my girlfriend from home and
Shout out.
shout out girlfriend. Stole her from home
Yep.
and made our way to Jersey. And yeah, it was just like kind of, being sick of being where I was. I was in the same place for so long, and I'm from a very small place, small island in Massachusetts, and there's just not a lot of opportunity there. And I was getting really submerged in some bad shit, and just like not
Dude, I feel you on that.
not doing what I should have been doing.
Honestly, I want to talk about that too. Of like, because in my town, like, we have like obviously every place has a lot of drugs, but like, we have a good amount of heroin. Like it's mostly heroin that people get into. If it's a bad drug, right? So like, that's like obviously for me, I don't think it's easy to get caught up in that, but like at the same time, like for people that are vulnerable to that, it is easy. Yeah, because it's accessible.
Like I almost feel like, and I don't want to get any like drug addiction hate from saying this, but I almost feel like it's like you have to be suicidal to be able to dive into that kind of thing. Like
it really comes down, and I was talking to somebody about this yesterday. It's like it's all mental health, like it's all extreme anxiety and depression. But
like the risks, that like where I'm from, like I'm on like one of the reasons I hate Facebook. Because every time I'm on Facebook, there's somebody new from my hometown that passed away.
Yeah, man.
Like every time, and it's it's always like you don't like, and the most fucked up part about it is that now you don't even ask how they passed away. You just know.
You just know.
Like, and sometimes you're wrong.
From my town too.
And then sometimes you're wrong, and like, and then you feel like an ass because you're like, damn, I judged the situation when it wasn't,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, dude, it's just like one of those places, and it's like we just came from AC for a little bit. We were in Atlantic City, and it just kind of reminds me of it. But like Atlantic City's way more people.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking like we're like ghost town.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were there in a couple months ago, or not even a couple months ago, a couple weeks ago, and just dead, dude. Nobody.
Have you
been
to Long Beach Island before? Like here?
Yeah.
Like, that's what it kind of reminds me of. Like during the not off season, like it's pretty much like obviously I don't know if there's I don't think there's like drugs there or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know about that, but like the vibe of like if you're from Jersey, of like going to basically any beach town, but like that island in particular of like off season is just dead. Like
yeah, dude, it's just ghost town, and like it's very depressing. Like it's very hard to have a passion and really chase it unless you get out of there. And like a lot of people were making their way out of there, and I got in a lot of trouble, and I was doing some things I didn't want to do, and I got to the point where I was like, all right, I got to get out of here for myself. And Jersey was the best option. And then 3 months into being in Jersey, my dad got an offer in Texas. And
so did he come from work originally then, or
yeah. And he got an offer in Texas that he took, and he asked me if I wanted to go there. I said no.
So far.
So yeah, just moved to Jersey, literally like 3 months into moving in Jersey, and I was like, I'm not gonna do that. Like, and I had no interest in Texas, like no interest.
I mean, like no disrespect to Texas, but like if you're from Jersey, you don't know what the fuck's going on. That's a different fucking country as far as we know.
Exactly.
Basically, Texas is its own fucking country for the most part.
From what we've heard.
Yeah, no disrespect. Y'all really getting it down there. I mean, like when they say it's like they do shit big down there,
but then like I just got to the point where me and my girlfriend just decided to stay, figure out the apartment thing, and that was definitely the best decision I could have ever made in my life, because it really just made me like self-sufficient. And at the time I was just working. This is before I started the business, so I was just grinding, and I think that's important. Like I feel like looking back, I feel some sort of resentment every now and then because of the situation, because it wasn't what I expected. I didn't think I was gonna be like just kind of like 3 months in, like, oh, you gotta figure it out. Like I was kind of, my mental when I moved down was like, all right, I'm gonna spend 2 years here, stack up, and then do this. And then it was like, fuck, like I gotta figure it out. And we only had a month to figure out the apartment.
It was binary.
Exactly.
It was like, hey, I'm not going back, so my only decision is stay or go to Texas.
Yeah.
Which is complete.
Exactly.
Black and white. Yeah.
Exactly. And then it was like we had like a month to figure out an apartment. It was pretty stressful, but we figured it out.
Yep.
And then like made myself be self-sufficient, and I realized that like that was the best lesson out of the whole thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you do a lot of like? It felt you probably have to grow pretty quick then.
Yeah, for sure. And at the time, I mean, what was I?
Because you were like your kid, like you're.
I was 21.
Kid. Yeah, you're 21. I'm 21. I just turned 21.
Yeah.
So like, shit, if I had to do that, now, like, I have this apartment and shit, but, like, my house is 2 hours away. Like, you know, something happens or, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, you're basically like, shit, man, like, this is, like, a fucking decision I gotta make right now.
Exactly. And we figured it out. I mean, it was really, like, just a dope lesson learned out of all of it. And we made it happen. And yeah, like, I mean, I love Jersey. I love everything about it. Like, I love the fact that it takes me, you know, 35 to 40 minutes to get to the city. Love the fact that it takes me an hour to get to the beach. I mean, I don't love that part because I'm from the beach, so I'm used to, like, being 5 minutes down the street. But at the same time, it's only an hour. And then, you know, like, an hour to PA in some crazy ass mountains. Like, it's fucking dope.
Yeah, Poconos is pretty. Like, I mean, I grew up basically, like, from people that are listening that know where fucking, if you're from where I'm from, then you know, like, that's where we grew up.
Yeah.
And then, but then also, you know, the closest beaches were, like, you know, it was like an hour and 30, hour 40, and then so, like, those, it is such a weird, especially, like, where I'm from too. It's like such it's a very underrated area, or maybe not underrated, but unknown. Like, people just don't know it exists. And then if you go there, you're like, oh, this is like, I think I come from the most beautiful place in the state, but, like, it's crazy. Like, Jersey has so much to offer, but, like, the rest of the country, unless you come here and experience all of it, then you don't know. Like, you don't know that you can go to AC, and then you could drive 2 hours and go be, like, in the Poconos, and then you could drive another hour and a half to the other side and then be in New York City, and then drive, like, if not that you would make sense to do this, but, like, then you could go to Philly in, like, an hour and 20 from there. Like,
no, it's dope. That's why I really like it. I mean, I think, you know, I think this is going to end up being the place that I probably settle eventually. I think that there's a couple places I want to check out just to see, but
North Jersey represent, I would say, probably settle and keep staying North Jersey.
Yeah, that's like, I like it, dude. Morris County's nice.
Morris County's, it's popping too. Like, you can go to Morristown and you can, like, have a nice night and go to a club if you want. You could go to a nice bar. Like,
no, it's a cool spot.
Yeah, it's a good kind of. It's in a good area too because it's close to things. You know, you go to, like, the other side of the state where I'm from, it's, like, not as much. Like, you have a Sands Casino in Bethlehem you can go to. Never really been there. Like, wouldn't really go there. But, like, honestly, like, for me, I was used to, like, you know, you grew up on the beach, so, and, like, in a beach town, but I grew up in just, like, fields and, you know, hills and valleys and stuff. So, like, that's what I'm used to. But so I go anywhere populated, I'm like, this is, like, fucking weird for me. Like, even here, like, even living here, it's just, like, 10 minutes from AC. You know, it's, like, nice, but at the same time, my roommate's like, hey, like, we should go to, you know, let's go to the city. It's like, what are we going to do? Like, all the buildings look the same to me. Yeah. And then they go where I live, and all the hills look the same.
Yeah, so exactly.
It's like, what do you want?
Yeah, I get that.
So that was kind of your, like, transition to Jersey, and now you're extremely functional in Jersey, just doing your thing. Yeah, dude. Got this shit going. I mean, the thing is, like, so when were you an artist? You always talk about being an artist, but I don't know when that happened, or, like, was that in high school? Was that?
I was an artist from, I want to say, like, 18 to 22.
Okay.
And I was, I mean.
So you were in it. It wasn't just, like, a couple months you made a track and put that shit down.
No, I was, dude, I did some pretty cool things, like, as an artist. Definitely had, like, a good following, you know, like, I had. I didn't. It wasn't like some bullshit. I had a pretty good following. I had, you know, like, songs over, like, 10,000 plays on SoundCloud. I had, like, you know, the whole nine, where it was, like, a partial come up, honestly.
Like it was starting to come up.
And back home, it, like, was like my last summer there.
That's how I feel too. Yeah.
When my last summer there, I had a project. I had, like, a little mixtape I came out with that did really well. And moved out here, and I was kind of like, oh, like, this shit's really gonna take off here, but it was kind of the opposite effect because I had no support. So it was like starting over. I didn't really like the scene here at all. Like, I was around it for a little bit. I love a couple guys.
There's
like
a ton of Jersey artists.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna say that. There's so many of us.
Yeah, and like a lot of talented people that, you know, like, can really do their thing, but
a lot of people who shouldn't be doing what they think they're doing.
Just like
they're
this,
not doing what they think.
Just the vibe of it, I didn't like.
Attitudes,
and like the there was a lot of ego
I was gonna say people are really doing it for the clout and shit.
Yeah, no, like to the fullest.
It's for they like do it for the notoriety of doing it. Like they do it just to do it, which is like the worst thing you can do in music. Like, you have to be really true to yourself if you make music.
No, exactly.
Or good
like
music at least. But.
No, but there's like a couple that I was like close to working with and stuff like that. Like I was doing like my thing out here for a little bit, and then I just came to the point where I was like, I think what happened was the first project did so well that I was overthinking like everything after that, and I
gotta maintain this level.
Yeah,
like people have an expectation of what this should be, and it has to stay there.
And I got to the point where I was just kind of like, like it took the fun out of it, and I just kind of sat back one day and was like, I don't think this is what I'm passionate about. If this is what's frustrating me so much, like I was
That's
making music.
So you kind of made discovered a realization about it that you didn't feel before.
Yeah, no, never. Like I always thought it was gonna be the thing. My whole time I was making music, I thought that was, like even when I was first moved into my place, I thought that was what was gonna get me to where I wanted to be. But yeah, dude, it was just like a lot of frustration and like.
Did you have a background in it? Did you play music through your life or like?
Yeah, like same kind of thing. Like I played like guitar like when I was like young and shit like that, and like
same shit.
Like my first big Christmas present was a drum set. Like same kind of thing, but like, but I don't know. I just like there was like I just remember days where I was working on some stuff. Like I got to the point where I wanted to kind of like do the whole thing. Wanted to produce the beat, wanted to make the song, wanted to engineer myself. So I was doing all that. Yep. And then at some point in that whole transition, I was getting super frustrated with these songs, and I just said, dude, like this, if I'm getting this pissed off on a day-to-day basis,
it's not like
it was like kind of like ruining my day type shit. Like not just like I have writer's block, whatever. Like that's how it used to be.
No, it happens for most artists. It happens for one day, but then the next day you go back and you're like, oh, like I was just like I had a bad day yesterday.
Exactly.
But for you, it's like no, this is like constant tension. Like, it just feels like work.
Yeah,
it feels like a job that I don't want to do.
Exactly.
Right?
And then I would perform. And I hated performing. Like when I was I was
gonna ask you about that if you perform. Performance aspect. Yeah.
Like when
I just think it's important for artists to hear.
Yeah, for sure. Like I I performed like back when I was in Mass. I performed in front of some pretty big artists. Like performing opened for them. Opened for like Fabulous. I opened for
sick, man.
I opened for Baby E, who's a throwback. He had like 2 hits. Yeah, just like some little guys, some pretty popular
still,
Boston
shit
artists
that a lot of people want to do.
Yeah, and then like I liked it back then, but for some reason when I moved here, I just didn't like it anymore. Like,
got you.
I don't know what it was. Dude, I like don't really have an answer for that like whole kind of like phase of my life. It was just like, cause I'm talented. Like if you listen to my music,
I've never listened to it. You have to send it. What the fuck are you doing? No, because Tyler. All right, so shout out to Tyler. I'm gonna give people the context. So I work for this guy named Tyler, and from the Vault Studio in Boonton, New Jersey. And I interned for him. I sent him literally straight up Gary Vee shit. I just sent him a DM, and I was like, hey, I want to intern for you. They had me and another girl come in, and the girl, I don't know if she got it or what, but I got it. And then we linked up on LinkedIn. We got connected, and I was like, hey, do you know this guy, Mike Anderson? And Tyler's like, yeah, dude, like he's a dope artist.
Yeah.
But I never, so from that, and then we just had a business relationship and a friendship, obviously, but like, I never listened to any of it. So it's still at this time, I've never listened to any of it. So I fucking believe you, bro, but I don't know.
Yeah.
So if it's still on SoundCloud or whatever, I'd like to go check it out after this.
Yeah, it's still up.
I'll throw the music just over this shit right now.
Yeah, right. And I've thought of like going back a couple times, like just for fun, because I feel like now that it's not like my main,
you don't have to rely on it.
Yeah. Now that it's not like my main thing, I think it would be fun to do on the side. But at the same time, I'm like, taking time away from what I'm doing right now might not be the best move. So
maybe it doesn't align. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I mean, obviously I have a lot of doubt. I think all artists have doubt.
Yeah.
And it's kind of just like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like, sometimes. But then I'll be making a song that has nothing to do with hip hop or rap. Like I will literally be creating for months at a time one song that's like a country song or something, and then I'm like, nah, this is my shit. Like, because then I'm like, I'm not tied to any certain form of it. Like I realize that like I'll be able to channel it
no matter what the output ends up being, no matter if it's like hip hop, rap, EDM, not that I even do that, but maybe I will, but like a country song, a rock song. Like I grew up on a lot of rock, so I play a lot of rock guitar. You know, I played drums for a long time, so like, but then you could have, you know, and I'm not saying fucking maybe like 2 years from now I'm like, you know, maybe this isn't it. And like I've thought that a lot too, of like, should this be the last time I try? Should this be the last album I make?
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know. When I get there, obviously, I'll make that decision. But
I think you know, like when you stop having those like urges to make music. Like I barely have an urge to make music,
see,
like
when
at all.
I go to bed, I'm thinking about it, and I wake up to write lines.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I don't know. People say that the thing that you go to bed doing and the thing that you wake up in the middle of the night and write down is the thing that you should be doing.
Yeah.
And that's what I do. So like, I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
But maybe, you know, sometimes I write a line and it's not even for rap. It's just like some life shit. So
yeah.
But to be honest, like, and like I don't do it all the time. Like it's not like something. Obviously, I have so many other things like the podcast. This gives me as much enjoyment almost as making a song. Not. You know, when you make a good song and then you go get some fucking Chinese food or some shit, or you just like go out to dinner, or you just go get lunch or something, like you just feel like fuck, like nobody else made that song.
Yeah.
You know, I just made this
shit.
Yeah. You know, it's almost just like kind of
Nah, it's like definitely the best, one of the best feelings I've ever felt is like hearing back your music and knowing it's a hit. Like
Facts.
definitely one of the best. Like I'm not gonna lie, like, and it still kind of is. Like I don't have like a moment with that with my business. I mean, when I close the deal, it's fucking dope. I feel like a boss, but that's about it. you know? Like it's not like there's something. There's no key moment. I think what's so attractive about like the business life to me is just the competition of it. Yeah. It's like it feels like a sport to me. Well, it literally feels like I'm practicing and grinding on a day-to-day basis.
The problem with art is you can put in the 10,000 hours and still suck.
Yeah.
With business, like you can like basically the more work you put in, like, and the more conscious effort that you put in for your business, like the better results you get.
Yeah.
With art, everybody else is smarter than you.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Like you're selling people on a thing they can't touch, feel, or even see.
Yeah.
They can only hear it.
Yeah.
Well, with music.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like that's the thing. If like you can have an artist that has spent like literally, I mean, I've seen these guys. They're fucking crazy. They blow my mind. They go in the studio. All right, pull that YouTube beat up. Bang. They do a whole song in like 4 takes. All right, bounce it out.
Yeah. Dude, and that
gets 10,000 fucking plays. And I'm sitting here trying to write I'm trying to do a E major and a fucking C minor bullshit.
No, yeah, and it's crazy because that's kind of how like my recording process was. Like I was one of those artists. Like I would just like mumble and hum a melody, like one take, mumble hum melody, and then just fill it in with words, and then the song was done. It would be done in like half hour.
Yeah,
I had easy, but yeah, dude, it's just like I think the thing with business, like I said, is it's so competitive, and it's just a thing where it's like a grind, and I like that. I love being like overlooked,
and you put the pressure on yourself too.
Yeah,
and then you're overlooked and underrated. And it's just like, oh, nobody realizes this potential but me right now.
Exactly, and like I love the fact that there's so many people out there that I'm so opposite from a lot of people where they see success and they kind of like not hate on it, but they're like they're like redirected from it. But for me, it's like when I see success, it's like, dude, I can fucking do that. Like it's not like who are you? Yeah. It's like, dude, if you can do that, I can do that. I know it for a fact.
Dude, that's what it seems like you were doing with music, bro. I feel like you just were like saw somebody rap or something. You was like fucking light work, bro.
Yeah.
You were literally like, watch this.
Yeah.
And you did it, and then you did it for like 4 years or whatever, and you're like, all right, I did it. Like for some people, like shout out my friend Jack, like being in. He was he's been on like a couple of my tracks, and we've like rapped together for like years and shit. But like for him, like he's told me this multiple times of like just being in the studio and recording an album and like being in that process, like that was kind of it. Like that's all he really wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, like I have like these fucking crazy weird, like these crazy goals, right? Like, but for some people, I think it's just like they want to see if they can.
They want to just do it.
They want to see if they can do it. Oh, I did it. Like, and you did it. You got the plays. You opened for the people. You fucking like. Now you're like, what's next, bitch? Like you're like, what is this? Life fucking throw me. And then you see this business shit. Oh, I don't have a business. Doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
I don't have clients. Oh, now I have clients. Like,
No, exactly. Like I
I
mean,
feel like life just took you down that road.
yeah.
You did your shit. You passed it. You can always go back.
Yeah, and it's funny, you know, like I'll even give this shout out because honestly, like I'm a huge like supporter of everything he does, and he's like probably my. It's crazy because we're like not the same age. He's like 2 years older than me, but Cody Kearns from I Come Up Marketing, shout out Cody. But you know, I spent a long time watching his content, and I was actually a customer of him when I was an artist. I was always like knew that marketing was important, so you know, like he does like kind of the social media growth and branding and stuff like that. So I was working with him, and you know, I saw him really take off, and that's kind of what gave me that idea, like, dude, if he can do it, I think that I can figure it out too. And I was already freelancing with these smaller companies, just running their social media. So then like I saw him like really fucking taking off, and that was just like so inspirational to me to see this kid like 23 years old, like $1 million company like that. All of a sudden that whole like aura and that whole idea just like took over what I wanted, and it was like fuck music, like I want that, like, and it's
you gravitated
towards
it,
and it's
spoke
like
to you. It wasn't just like
it was different than an artist, you know,
exactly.
From an artist, like you see these like it was like my I had like two different mindsets. Like I saw an artist come up, and this was like during like the mumble wave like really started, so I saw an artist come up and I would be like, how'd he make it, like come on. But then I saw this kid and I was like, yo, that's motivating. Yes. So then I was like, all right, I'm at this like fork in the road where I see this, and then I was like, you know what, I'm going to go this way. And, you know, like to this day, like I'm in contact with Cody, and he's a good dude, and it's just like inspirational to see what he did. So I definitely wanted to give him a shout out for that because he was a huge inspiration for that.
Respect for him, man, and for building that and making that come up, and then inspiring you to like be like, oh fuck, I can just do this shit. Like I watched yesterday, I took an hour and 20 minutes and I watched this, you might have seen it before. It's John Mayer, and it's him speaking at Berklee College of Music in like 2008. He did this lecture for the students, and he was like, you got to take inspiration or information and make it into inspiration. He's like, you all could go through the same classes, but the output's going to be different for everybody because it's not the information that you get, it's how you use it. So you took that information. All the information you got was this guy made it. Like this guy made this company, didn't matter how old he was, and then he created that, right? And then you used that for inspiration. You looked at the artist, and you took that information, you were like, no, I don't know how that worked. You know? That's what you're saying. Is like you took these two different things. One of them just you used for inspiration. Use the information for inspiration. Like the other one just didn't speak to you.
No, and like exactly how you said that. Like I saw the artist thing and I didn't understand it, but I saw that and I really did. Like I understand. You
saw the whole thing
doing.
Like blew up in your mind. Like oh shit, dots connecting and shit. Right. That's what I've done, and that's what I've done at companies I work for too. It's just like once you see the behind the scenes shit, you're like, oh motherfucker, I can do this shit.
Yeah, and then like you start to see, like with me, it was like, all right, like I see him doing his thing, and I see that most of it is off of the connections he's making, right? So then I did whatever I could to make connections that were valuable. Like I didn't care if I was working for free.
For music, literally everything, but.
And I didn't care if I was working for free, which a lot of people have a hard time with doing.
Yep.
Like with me, it was like, dude, if I have to do that, if I have to prove myself, I have to prove myself.
Yeah, that's what you got.
But you know, like I saw the ground print of like what they were doing, and I figured it out to kind of work for myself, and you know, like I don't even like, there's so much on the internet that I don't even like see them as competition. It's just kind of like you guys are like doing your thing.
No,
shout out to you guys.
There's a spot for everybody, and I think artists, like especially new artists, get caught up in that. And like, I mean, I've only been at this shit for like 5 years, like maybe seriously for like 3 years. But like a lot of new artists get caught up in that, is like they see, like you said, they see somebody blow up and they're like, how the fuck do they do that?
Yeah, exactly.
You're not seeing any of the background shit. Yeah, rip that.
Yeah.
But you're not seeing any of, we're just turning our camera back on, folks, but I'll do it in the editing, but like you're not seeing any of the background shit that people are doing. But so then that doesn't correlate. Like people think that they see the artist, oh, how'd they do that? And then they make the story up in their head of how it happened.
Yeah.
and that story in your head is not true.
No.
Like, if this happens in, like, everyday life, this happens in relationships, like, it happens in that, like, girl that doesn't text you back, you make the story in your head of why. It's probably, like, most likely she was just probably, like, fucking...
And that's...
You, but, like, she didn't pick up her phone or something.
Exactly.
Like,
and that's...
Like, we always make the stories.
Exactly,
man.
And I think that's like something that's super valuable. Like what you just said is that, you know, like all the circumstances we make for other people is like super messed up. Like it's like you see something and you just assume like someone that's successful. You just you're like naturally a lot of people's minds automatically gravitate towards, oh, their family must be rich.
Yep.
Or oh, like that's, I don't know. Oh, he must be a scammer. Or
guess what? That has nothing to fucking do with
who cares?
You didn't get $1 million.
No, and
next, like.
And it's not about that. Like, there's so many people out there that are
off if they got all the shit.
And it's not about that because there's so many people out there that are handed that and don't do anything with it. Exactly. So you have to think about like the fact that a lot of these people built that shit, whatever it was.
Or the geniuses that, you know, just, you know, sit and play video games all day. It's like, nah, dude, you're a genius, but like nobody can tell them that.
Yeah.
You know, like you get $1 million, like you get perfect score on the SATs, and they're just sit and do nothing all day.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't correlate.
100%. Yeah, dude. Like I just think that people need to stop with like the judgment of situations without knowing them. And honestly, even with knowing them, you shouldn't be judging a situation because you don't know
everything. Unless Unless it's you.
100%. And you don't know what you'd be doing in that situation. So it's just about like
really I wouldn't be the one to like take the video. I wouldn't be the one to start the fight. I wouldn't be the one. I would have done this. I would have done that.
And the thing like the whole like Gary V's whole push with like you know, just like not giving a fuck about like people's opinions and stuff. Like I feel like that is like a great message for you know, like in general, just self-awareness and like not caring about it.
Hard as fuck.
Obviously, yeah. Mm-hmm. But like the other thing about it,
work. Like, it takes honest work.
It's if you actually like develop that idea though, like you start to not care what other people think, and then you start to not care about what other people are doing. And that's even more important. Like not caring about what people think is one thing. Like just being like, you know, oh, that person thinks I suck. Yeah, like somebody thinking you suck. Like, all right, cool. Think I suck. I don't really care. I definitely don't suck. But then
they're probably wrong.
Yeah,
they don't know you
exactly. And then 2, being able to just like not
watch these motherfuckers.
Yeah,
man. Not get caught up in watching, like just paying attention, because like that's like it's so easy now, and like obviously we're all addicted to shit, but. You know, it's so easy to just watch these. Like, we're glued to other people's lives, and we know it's not real, but in our heads, we tell ourselves the story that it is. Mm-hmm. Even though we know it's not. Because ours isn't real.
Yeah.
Like, as much as I want to make this podcast and, like, do this music and put out my story every day when I'm doing and, like, waking up early and shit, like, there's days that I sleep in an extra hour. It's like there's days that I just don't.
Yeah.
I have to sit and watch podcasts instead of make them. It's just like... But I'm only gonna I'm not gonna fucking post some shit when I'm watching a podcast. Like
yeah.
I'm really not.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean,
you don't see it, but who is?
And I think that's part of like branding and being able to figure out like what you wanna show and what you don't. And I think that's like, you know, you pick those kinds of things out and you do them. But I think it's just so important to be able to not care what people think and then not care what people do. Like I said, it's just like. They do their own thing, whatever happens to them happens, and just worry about yourself. Like I feel like the world would be a better place if everybody just worried about what they did and their own problems and not anybody else's. Because like it's easy to say like, oh, this I can't do that because my cousin is having issues with this. But it's like if she was really like honed into figuring that situation out, maybe you wouldn't have to worry about it too. Like if everybody dealt with their own shit. Yeah,
it's like
and I know that's an easy concept, like it's pretty ridiculous to say that, but like at the same time it's like it's
really an easy concept, but it's not like it is like it just because it's an easy concept doesn't mean that it's easy to do. Like I don't even think it's easy to do, especially in this culture. Like
yeah
and like we obviously like I still struggle with that every day of like seeing other artists, but honestly that's why I unfollowed 150 200 people and I followed 55 artists, 60 artists.
Yeah.
I don't even care if I like their music or not. They're in the studio every day. Maybe their parents like help them out. Maybe they don't have a job. Maybe they it doesn't that shit does not matter. because all it is sheer motivation for me of like that person's in the studio, I'm not.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm not writing music right now, they are. So it's like use that type of motivation. Use the shit to like make you do work instead of make you fucking be sad about how other people are doing shit that you want to do.
Exactly.
Like, but there's this book. It's called The War of Art. I don't know if you've ever.
I've heard of it.
Pressfield.
Yeah.
And it's like good for anybody. Literally anybody that has to create or make anything. Like that's your book. Honestly, like it inspires me. Like I've read it probably 4 or 5 times and still inspires me all the time. But he also says that anything that your friends tell you is monopoly money. Yeah. Anything that your friends tell you about what you're doing is not real. And
100%, because they got to tell you, they have to be on your side.
Perspective you can possibly get.
Yeah, they have to be on your side. I mean, and if they're not, like, you know, it's kind of like fucked up. Like at the same time, I would like to have, you know, people who are honest, but like hype me up a little bit, you know.
Yeah,
I think that's
exactly.
like
no, it's the same. Well, you want to have that. I mean, I think like you have, you know, your girl probably helps.
Yeah, of
but
course.
But like, you know, she probably. Hello, what up, buddy?
What's going on?
And
man?
so that probably the support system, man. Like that shit is prime.
Yeah.
Like, that you need that shit. Like you need your homies there. Like my homies like know my come up, so that's the pro and the con. Like they can't be completely honest with me about my shit. Like I wouldn't expect them to. You know what I'm saying? Like they're biased from all the shit that they've seen me do, and like just knowing me as a person. Like I don't expect the people who are the closest to me aren't always the ones that buy my merch.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's people that I've never met before.
No, yeah.
So it's just like that's gonna show you like who's supporting like they have a different view of it than even people online. Like which is fucking crazy, man.
No, exactly. No, I think that there's a huge difference between that kind of thing and like I have a lot of people who it's funny, like I always say this and I think that this is crazy, like the only people I make money with are internet friends. Like all the people I've made, all my like friends that me and them make money together and it's like a money pool.
Yep.
Like they're all internet people. Like I haven't met them in person. And it's like it's funny because you know there's so many
you wouldn't expect it.
No,
to be
you
like
would
that.
never.
Because well the thing is a connection doesn't have to be a in-person connection. It's stronger in person for sure, but like we didn't connect in person.
Yeah.
There has been most of the people I've had in this podcast I never met in person. The first time they did was right in that seat that you're in right now.
Yeah. No, and I think it's funny because
those are the best episodes.
Yeah, and I think it's funny because like a lot of friends that I see like a lot of potential in, like they
we should talk, that's a good topic too.
Like I see a lot of potential in them and I wanted them to be a part of what I do. And, you know, like some of them do, some of them don't. Mm-hmm. But it's just like interesting to see that kind of like happen because it's like, you know, like I have something that's working right now.
Yep.
And it's like, we can make this work.
Some of them are probably jealous too. Like I'm not going to speak for them.
Yeah,
like,
you never know.
But like you never know. Some people are like, not that I'm saying that's bad for them to be, to feel that way. Like you should completely embrace that feeling. Like there's a reason why. Like, I'm jealous of people. Like I'm like I think that's kind of a positive thing. You know, like it can be. It definitely can be because it could just make you work harder. But like the expectation, like when I have my friends on this fucking podcast, like we're just hanging out. Like it's really not. It's like gonna be different from an episode of somebody that I don't know at all. Yeah. Just off the bat, like automatically.
Yeah. It's a different vibe.
Yeah, it's just I don't expect that. Like I don't have an expectation.
Yeah.
But when I talk to like somebody like you, it's like or anybody like this guy Mike Moore who just produced some music for me. I had him on. He went to Berkeley College of Music for 2 years, dropped out, made his own home studio, and now he's a recording engineer. Right? Like I know I'm not gonna talk to him as if you know my friends who I've known for 15 years. It's just like we're not gonna have the same conversation. And like, that's just like the metaphor for social media too, and all the other things. Like it's
just weird because like you see like when we were first coming up and like when the company was first starting to do its thing, like not to say that it's anywhere near where I want it to be, but when it first started to like get traction, these guys like all reached out to me like, you know, dude, like I see you doing your thing, like I really want to be a part of it. And then that just kind of like went away. And I think that's just a testament to show like the different types of people. Like there's some people that are just like that just see something and they just say it and then they don't follow through with it. But it was always interesting to me that like to this day there's nobody in the company that was like like Massachusetts friends. Like,
Yeah.
like there's no, actually, like I would say, you know, like a good friend of mine who's like starting to get involved. But other than that, it's like, it's just weird to me, you know, like it's,
Well, if you would
And
have
it's
asked
not
yourself
like-
4 years ago when you have a company who's going to be the motherfuckers involved, it's
Exactly.
like, those people
Yeah,
are here.
you think
Like,
about that, yeah.
My boys, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Oh, when you make it, who's going to be the ones right next to you? Like, shit, it might not be them.
Yeah,
man. It might
no,
not
and then
be
it's
them.
like, I think everybody goes a different path, so there's no like hard feelings from it at all. Like,
No.
but it's just
No,
kind
I'm
of
not
like,
throwing shade on anybody. Like,
Yeah.
I want everybody to do their. Some people have to be electricians. Some people have to be plumbers. Some people have to drive a dump truck.
Yeah.
Shout out to literally these are all the jobs that my boys do. Like right now, they might not do that forever, but like, and somebody's got to be a mechanic. That was me. Like I
Yeah.
no longer do that. Like everybody has to do. Somebody, you know, like everybody has to do their own jobs. Like,
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
throwing shade on any of these people. Like they just. It turns out that what you do ain't what they want.
Yeah.
Gonna do. Like,
yeah, no, it's
just the
interesting, and I
game.
get it for sure. Like, I think that the whole social media thing is like a little like off with people. Like some people like don't want that attention, which I get because I hate attention. That's what's so weird about like this
Yeah.
whole thing is like, you know,
No, I can tell.
I have a
Like,
pretty
you don't have an ego about your attention. Like you don't
Yeah.
walk in a room and you're like, I got 20 fucking what the fuck?
Yeah.
I got these followers, get the fuck out of my way.
Dude, I don't give
That
a
ain't
fuck.
you, bro.
Dude, like, if
'Cause
that-
people with 1,000 followers have that type of confidence when they walk
dead
in a
ass,
room sometimes.
and like it's funny because dude, if that was taken away from me tomorrow, I wouldn't care.
I
like,
thought about that. you
It
know?
sucked.
Yeah.
Like dude, I was locked out of my Instagram for like 3 weeks,
Yeah.
and it was because of an impersonation issue, like where they thought I was impersonating myself, and like there was all this like this stuff with my phone number and like a
Yeah.
bunch of stuff going on, so I was
It's like
locked
a
out
kick
of
in
it.
the balls. That's your
Yeah,
entire business.
exactly.
Too, yeah.
And it was, you know, it was 3 weeks, but there was like first couple days sucked, then like I got to this point where I was like, dude, like I don't need that. Like let me just figure it out, and I'll figure it out without that.
Yeah.
And I did, you know, like I made it through
You
fine,
have to,
and
though.
like
You didn't. It's not like you're like, all right, gotta call the job back up.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
fucking-
yeah.
My Instagram shut down.
yeah, I had to, but at the same time, it's like, you know, like if that's taken away from me tomorrow, like I'm still the same person that I am. I don't care. Like number of followers doesn't make me who I am. You know what I mean? Like
No,
it
it's what you
definitely
put out
gives
to
me
the world.
credibility.
Sure.
It
Well,
def-
people are gonna judge you on it for the unfortunately or unfortunately.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
gonna Judge you on
and it definitely gives me the credibility for what I do.
It's a testament
and-
because it is what you do. It's a testament to your business.
Yeah, yeah. And it's important. Like I think everybody should be investing in their social media presence if you do something.
No matter
like
what.
100%. Like there, and if you're not, you better start figuring it out somehow. Like whether it's a goal or whether it's
At
like
least
what you're
small
doing
time,
now.
like,
Yeah, yeah,
do something.
yeah. But like I just think, you know, it's super valuable in bringing you business. I mean, I've
Yeah.
created a whole business off of it. So, and I've helped a lot of other people create a lot of business off it. So.
Yep.
It's a huge thing, and you know, to have that is a blessing, but at the same time it's like I don't really care for it either. It's like
Yeah,
not something that
I've
blows
been
my head
going
up.
Back and forth on, I've been going back and forth on like trying to blow up the Instagram or trying to get all these fans. It's like if I just get like these random people, like it's probably not going to be the same for me. Like it almost like not saying that I have to do it organically. Or
Yeah,
that I
yeah.
would do it organically, but like it's not like like if I wanted to flip a switch and get like 40,000 fans right now, like I don't know if I'd do it. Like because if I don't know the details, like it's not
Yeah.
about the numbers, right? It's about the quality.
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
And like we were talking about before, like we started, like we were talking about the quality of followers.
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about the quality of your followers and like your connection to them. Like that's as important. That's more important than the number will ever be.
Yeah,
Like, the
100%.
DMs and the comments that you get and like the real interactions are like
yeah.
fucking more important than anything, really.
Yeah, and
like
that's-
the likes going away too. It's a testament to that.
Yeah, and that's like my huge thing, like we were talking about before, is I really want to kind of change the vibe of my page because I've been for a long time like worried about the engagement because of my following. I think that when your following grows, you're more worried about engagement because you want it to match. And realistically, sometimes it doesn't. That's not because of you. That's just
a
because of
game.
how it pushes. So
Yeah.
like I got to the point where I was so worried about that I was only focused on the content that was gonna do well. And I think that that's just a fucked up way of seeing it. Like you should be doing the stuff that's beneficial to your audience. So like my whole focus
Yes.
right now, my whole push is just to give value. It's not about posting a picture in front of fucking a hill in Napa Valley. Like that's cool. Definitely, I'll probably still
there's
post
like
it.
there's a space for that.
But
There's a space for that. Like there's a picture, like you should still post that because that's still your life, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
That's not your whole life. And like you were saying, that's what people want to see.
Exactly.
Sometimes you have to give them what they need to see.
Yeah, 100%. And like, I don't think it does as well. And like, I know I'm gonna see a drop of engagement with my page, like for a fact. Like, or I presume, because of like how my audience currently is, I presume that I'm gonna see a drop off of engagement. But at the same time, like, this is what I want to do. This is the message I want to show people, and this is like this is the
mic, bro.
This is the me that I want to show people.
Yeah.
So like, if that's something that's gonna drop some likes or drop some views, like it is what it is, because this is what I want to be able to provide people with, and the message I want to send to people, and this is the platform I can do it on, so I'm gonna do it. And like, if it drops off, it drops off, but I know that that's gonna bring me more in the end, and especially when it comes to business.
It's quality versus quantity, man.
Exactly.
Would you rather be the artist with 100 million fans that just know you for one song, or would you rather be the artist with 1 million fans that love you for your entire discography?
Yeah.
It's like they are the true fans.
Yeah.
When
sure.
you have 100 million fans who know you from one song, it's their fucking music. It's not yours anymore.
Yeah.
It's not yours. They have the control. You're pandering to 100 million fucking people
Yeah.
instead of a tight knit group that's gonna support basically everything you do when you switch from hip hop to jazz to fucking country to whatever.
Exactly.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
And it's an open mic, man. People are gonna nod their heads, right? And there's gonna be other people jumping up and down, screaming how much they love it. But the people who are nodding their heads, they can fuck with it the same amount as the guy screaming they love it.
Yeah, 100%.
You just don't know.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what the fuck these people are thinking. Like, people are going to scroll past your shit and not like it, but they're going to still say, respect, that's dope.
Yeah,
In
exactly.
their
No,
head.
100%.
But it's not going to translate. Like, the likes, which, like, we can go into that, too, and we did on the other one. So, people, if you want to know, we went into a lot of business, social media on this other podcast on the Freelance Network. But
yeah, this is our fucking round time. We already
this is
did
our
all the
we're
business.
just going fucking.
We already did the
we're
business
sending
stuff.
it. Yeah, we're just going through. But, like, when you like something, it's literally it's like subconscious. Like it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, there's no
like,
thought.
I can go through two posts that I like actually in my mind and not like them, and then go through two posts that I don't like and click like.
Yeah.
So that's how you know the system is false. It's a farce. It's not a real. Like for you, it's real. For people, if you make it real, it's real. If you make business off it, it's real. Like if there's real money, it's real. And another thing that John Mayer said in 2008, he's like, somebody asked him like, hey, you have this huge persona, and on the internet, and he's like, the internet's not real. He's like, to me, it's not real. Like, I have to, no matter whether the internet exists or not, I have to make my songs, and they're not going to be influenced on what somebody says on there.
Yeah.
So, like, at the end of the day, like, obviously, you have to do it. Like, and I've heard people say, like, it's a necessary evil. There's some evil, like, for sure. But you don't have to pay attention to that.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like you're forcing, like, you could get addicted to it, and, like...
I mean, the way that you perceive what you do is based off of, like, what you're hearing, and that's your choice.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a huge thing,
the right way to put it.
is that, like, the way that you like, if you are thinking, a certain way about what you're doing, it's somebody else's opinion, it's not yours, because if you're doing it, you believe in it. So it's like...
Exactly.
You have to be able to weed out that shit and figure out what's for you and push it, because there's a lot of negativity out there. There's a shit ton of negativity. I don't think there's more negativity than positivity. I don't think there's like a draw or a fight against it.
You put what you put in front of your eyes, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like, if you aren't putting the right message in front of your eyes, then
that's why I follow the artists. That's why I follow the people who are posting the positive shit. It's like, I don't even care if I don't believe in it. Like, it's still gonna put me in a better state than me following somebody who like is just gonna stir up controversy and like shit that gets me heated. Like,
exactly.
That's why like the Gary Vee shit is like, I will literally watch 5 to 10 seconds. I know what he's going to say.
Yeah, 100%.
But I just want that 5 to 10 seconds, and then I'm like, nope, I'm a piece of shit. Fucking close that video. Let's go to work.
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah.
That's the purpose. Like, you want to get to the point where the Gary Vee, where you turn off Gary Vee.
Yeah.
That's that's the goal.
Yeah, and that's like
that's the goal. He wants you to turn it off.
Yeah.
He doesn't give a fuck about your video. He literally says in his videos, "Don't watch this. Go fucking do shit."
Yeah,
and like he has 7 million followers.
And it's funny because I feel like that's kind of like the position that I've gotten to is like there's almost like, dude, I've listened to all the podcasts.
Me too.
I've listened to all the YouTube videos.
Mm-hmm.
I've read not enough books, but I've read a good amount of books, and like, it's weird because it's like part of my ritual, like my day to day, but at the same time I'm like, I don't even need this anymore. And it's not against them at all. The message that they're putting is great, but I know like where I'm headed, and I know what I need to do to get there.
It's resistance.
Exactly.
It's still resistance.
Exactly.
That's the war of art. That's how he'd say it.
Exactly, and it's just like figuring out like, all right, like that hour of personal development, while it is beneficial to me,
you just call it.
I don't think I need it
that,
anymore.
Right? We just call it that though. Like it's sex is resistance, love is resistance, drugs is resistance, books are resistance. Podcast resistance, music is resistance, like sometimes work is resistance, cleaning is resistance, like it's all things that like you can convince yourself like that you're convincing. Me too, dude. I watch insane amount of hours of podcast, and I convince myself that I make podcasts, I should just watch this. I'm learning all this information. Like I learn a couple of new things.
Yeah,
out of 2 hours,
exactly.
Right? Like most of the shit is just people talking like we're talking right now.
Yeah,
like
no,
out of this,
100%.
like there's some gems, but like there's not in this conversation things that people can't get from other places on the internet.
100%.
You know, so yeah, it's all about what you convince yourself. And I see myself as an artist. Like you could say, I'm an artist. I need time to like disconnect, and I need time to like experience and watch a movie and like get new ideas and like, yeah, but not like hours and hours a day.
Yeah,
you know?
no.
Yeah, so
No.
you should finding the common balance, and I don't think that we have to find it right now. And I think that if you're in college, like I think just keep going. Like you'll find it, you'll get it.
Yeah,
There's gonna be a point where like
No, like
either
if
you
you're
have to pivot or you're gonna realize, I'm a piece of shit. I have to do something.
if you're in college right now, you should be consuming every piece of.
This is your last chance to consume. Really,
You should be consuming everything that you can possibly consume, and then figure out what applies to you and what direction you want to go with it.
Yeah, and
because,
if you can start. But
yeah, but the big thing is like, yeah, if you can start. But I just think that that like college is one thing, but I think consuming is another. And I think that when it comes to class, you're not really consuming, dude. You're doing whatever you can to get through that class. Like even the best student in the world, like you're just getting through that goddamn class. Don't act like you know everything, because you're just trying to get through that fucking class.
Facts.
But if you're consuming everything
you gotta learn outside of school. Motherfuckers who don't learn outside of school are the people who just don't. You don't get to customize your life then.
Yeah, dude. I think the most important thing, and I saw this the other day on the news, and it was really dope. Like this high school in New York is making mindfulness a part of an elective and a class of mindfulness, and I think that's so dope because dude, mindfulness should be a requirement in college. Like the amount of separation between like the health of our minds and like what we're forced to do in an academic world is fucking ridiculous. And that's why I was never like a school person, was because like, dude, I know in my head I can do this. So why the fuck am I in this book learning about this? No, exactly.
It's
and
random information. It's
exactly.
random. Think about it though. It's first of all, it's random. And it's the same thing every year. Like you don't really learn. What do you learn new from 8th grade to fucking 12th? Not that much.
No, it's the same shit with just a couple tweaks to it.
More details. About the same shit.
Like I'm gonna edit your paper a little bit harder than I did in 8th grade.
The Revolutionary War. Okay, 2 chapters. In 12th grade, 7 chapters. It's just more details.
Yeah.
It's not like it's the same fucking war.
No,
dude.
exactly. And it's like,
why do we have to learn history 19 fucking times?
It's
the same fucking history.
No, and like the thing is like we should be learning about things that are important. You know, like credit. Personal development, mindfulness, and like
exactly.
Just being able to like
savings.
Mold a human being. Like we're not even molding human beings. We're molding like what we think is gonna push this country further, which is a fucking false accusation of anything, dude.
I think unfortunately people that do teach it, they know.
Yeah, 100%. You can't not,
you
dude.
Can't.
You can't.
And they're in a position where they need a job, so it's like you can't. What are they gonna do? So, obviously this brings up like a really large, like massive.
Yeah, we could do a whole podcast about
this. On that, and it would be massive to, it would be such an undertaking to change the entire thing. Maybe it wouldn't, maybe I'm just assuming that, but like, you have to. And what I realized too, I think about sophomore year of high school is when I kind of discovered podcasts, discovered Joe Rogan, and I realized, I have to learn what people do outside of this school. Like, I have to learn what the real life people do. I have to learn about what does a comedian do? What does an astrophysicist do? What does an anthropologist do? What does all these people talking for 2 hours about what they do. And then, what is this book that they don't teach in school about some guy who went off in the woods? What did he do? I got to learn about him too. Like, I realize, like, you have to, if you don't get the learning outside of the school, you can't ever do shit outside of what school tells you can do.
Yeah. And I think that, like, one thing that I did, one thing that I did that I think kind of, like, put me, like, I wouldn't say ahead, but on, like, a really good path, was not going to school and going full-time work. Because it instilled automatically that I had to work to get to where I wanted to be. So, like, I was at, 9 to 5, like, right at 18, like, 9 to 5, 9 to 5, 9 to 5. And, I did take college courses and stuff, and, like, I did do that life. But at the same time, like, working full-time was what really got my mind on that kind of vibe of, like, I need to be focused. And it's also, like, you get to, like, this certain age. Like, I feel like that's why I created the business, was because I was 22 and had worked full-time for the past 4 years. Whereas if you go to college, you don't work full-time until 23 or 22 or 23. Most kids my age are just starting their full-time jobs. Whereas I was already 4 years deep. Like, fuck this shit. I'm sick of this shit. So I'm gonna figure out how to get around that.
Understood how that grind works.
Exactly. But that's when your mind says, I'm sick of this shit. Let me figure out another way to do this. And that's how I was able to, like, maneuver that. And I think that if you, like, while I'm not against college, I'm not against college for things like, for certain things that you need to go to college for.
If your job needs a degree, then go to college.
Exactly. But, like, that situation, like, I'm a real big proponent. Like, I don't think college should start until, like, 23.
Yeah.
Like, when, like, those years, you should be grinding so that you understand that you gotta grind.
Let's vote at 21, bro. I don't give a fuck. Let's do it.
Literally,
It'll
like,
be a more informed vote.
Literally.
25, whenever the prefrontal cortex is developed. Right? Like,
yeah.
Nah, because, well, the thing is, like, I literally had this. I'd never even thought. I always knew that this conversation would happen, but I was talking to a girl in my class, and she's, like, the nicest girl. Like, she's awesome. But, like, I think she's like, I was like, what's your major? She's like, finance. I was like, oh, what do you want to do in finance? She's like, oh, well, my mom told me I should go into finance. So I said, oh, okay. And I was like, what do you really want to do? I've said this, like, to 2 people at this point. And
Fashion.
It seems like it's literally the best question you can ask people because they don't bullshit you about it. She goes, oh, I want to start a nonprofit. And I was like, you want to start one or you want to, like, run one? She was like, both, right? And I said, well, what are you going to do that? She's like, well, I don't know how to do that. And I don't know
Google,
how to make
motherfucker.
a website. She literally said to me, I don't know how to make a website. It's
Hire somebody.
2019. I can make a website. Smilo, how long to make a website right now? 5 minutes? Yeah, fucking 5 minutes. Literally, 5 minutes. I can make an app. I can make a fucking app in 10 minutes and it'll go live in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, like, and it'll look good too.
It'll look fucking, it's a template. I just put the fucking text in there. Like, you can't say you don't know how to make a website.
No. Dude, so, you can't say you do. You can't say you can't do.
People who are going to college for their parents, man.
You can't say you can't do anything in this fucking world because there's so many fucking ways to be able to find people who do that shit. And like, I understand if you don't have the resources, that's a different story.
Yeah.
Like,
well, nobody has the resources when they start. Like,
yeah, exactly. But yeah, dude, I just think
camp mentality, man. I posted that shit on my story too, and I'm like, this isn't like hippy dippy shit anymore, man. Like, if you honestly, like, that's what the science says. The science says that if you tell yourself that you can't, then you're probably never gonna do it.
Yeah.
Like, then your body's gonna be preconditioned to not do that. Like, when I go for a performance, like, I think I envision in my head how the performance is gonna go. Like, it might not go that way, but I think if I think about it positively, like, it is gonna go great. It'll go great.
Yeah, manifestation, just being able to.
Manifestation. But it's not really like, just try it.
Yeah.
What's the con?
Dude,
like, even if you think it's some out there shit, just try it. Like, what's the downside?
100%. And I think that
you're thinking about stupid shit anyway.
Yeah.
So am I.
And that's like a push. Like, everybody has to be doing that. Like,
facts.
I think. And that's how I start off every day. Like, when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do before I shit, piss, brush my teeth, eat something, drink a cup of coffee, I have a glass of cold water and I meditate.
Me too.
And those are like the first 2 things because I start every day.
The coffee. I do I click the coffee maker first. I come here and click it, and then I go back.
Yeah.
Word, same thing.
But yeah, it's like that process. Like, the cold water gives you a level head after you sleep, right? So you drink that water, and all of a sudden you're starting to have a clear head. And then you go into the meditation, and you're envisioning your goals. You're, reiterating those goals and figuring out how to get there. And then you're just constantly reaffirming different things to yourself. How is your day going to go bad after that? And how are you going to see the bad in your day? When you start off like that, you can't see the bad in your day.
No.
Because you've already set your goals. Any bump in the road on that path is just like, oh, fuck. But you get through it. Like, dude, today is a pretty stressful day for me, right? Like, I've had a couple things going on with the business. Still banged out 2 podcasts. Still don't really care. And dude, you just keep it pushing. Like, and if you have that mindset, you can do it. But there's just a lot that people need to realize that needs to be like the primary thing that you focus on.
You either add things up or you fucking divide and subtract.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Like, when you do that in the morning, you divide and subtract. You go, okay, well, this is gonna let's just take a fucking let's just spread it all out and see what we got.
Yeah.
People add. Oh, I got to do this. Oh, got to do that. Oh, I'm in the middle of that. Oh, that thing happened. Bup. And then it's 17 fucking things in their day.
Yeah.
It's like, then they do nothing.
Yeah, no.
And you know these people. And
I've
been this person. Then I just shut off, and then you shut off and sit in your room and knock the fucking door.
100%.
That's the worst thing you can do.
The best feeling that you can do on a day-to-day basis is make 3 key points and watch yourself cross those 3 key points off every day. That's something that I have, like, big. Like, I do this thing where I write down 3 main things, and then I write down some small things underneath.
Yeah, me too.
So if I can cross off those 3 big things, I had a good day. If I can cross off everything, I had a fucking great day.
It feels so good to cross them off.
Yeah, dude. Right? And then the
so
look,
cathartic.
The look of just like, all right, those 3 are done. I can go to bed happy now, and I can go to bed like motivated. And that's what you have to do if you want to do anything in life.
Like, if you're not, like, at being in the moment, like, that puts you in the moment too. Like, for me, the meditation, you don't have to like it. Like, most of the days I fucking hate it. Most of the days it's kind of hard and it's annoying, and I'm trying to get these thoughts out of my head that are automatic, and like, but then you realize that's not what it's about. It's not about getting the thoughts out of your head. It's observing the thoughts in your head. And that's what you have to do with yourself, is like which I wasn't always like. People don't another thing they don't teach you in school is emotion. They don't teach you how to understand your emotions at all. There's no EQ. It's all IQ. It's all get smart. But then when something bad in your life happens, you disintegrate. So the EQ, I never realized. Like, I was watching the Aubrey Marcus podcast. Shout out to my friend Mark again. That same podcast. He was like, if you're angry, be angry. Sit and be angry, and see how long that lasts. Like, see how stupid you seem after you sit and be angry. Like, you just, like, for me, I just laugh at myself after a while. Like, I sit with it for a couple minutes. I'm angry. Why am I angry? I'll think about it. And I'm like, oh, that's just kind of stupid. I'm not angry. Oh, if you're sad, sit and be sad. Like, you can sit and be depressed for a little while. Like, it's okay. But I think people try to do the, nope, I'm going to just smoke. Nope, I'm going to just drink. Oh, no, I'm going to just go out. Like, I'm going to just eat. I'm going to do the coping mechanism. And then never just sit and just be like, I'm in here right now. Let me just experience this emotion. Like, that shit, and I'm not good at it. Like, I've just gotten better with it. Too. And like, my anger, like, I'm not like aggressive. I'm just like, I'll get angry at, like, almost at myself, you know? And to just be able to, like, oh, you're angry right now.
I think, like, the huge part of, like, getting through that type of stuff is just gratitude. Like, I think, like, dude, if you really, like, think about what other people, dude, I'm constantly, every time anything happens or every time anybody complains around me, the first thing I say is like, dude, did you wake up today? Like, did you
blow up?
Did you eat a plate of food? Like, because there's people that didn't wake up today. There's people that didn't eat food. There's people that can't drink clean water. So what the fuck are you complaining about that you got 900 likes instead of 1100 likes, or that you know, like,
there's people that would die to be in your position.
Yeah, exactly, dude. And like, once you put that perspective and you really start to figure that out, there's literally like nothing that can really phase you, because you start to realize that, like, dude, like,
it's not numbing. Like, you're not ignoring it. Like, you're just actually being in it. Like, you're experiencing it.
And that's like a huge one for me, is like that first one, the fact that I woke up this morning, right? Because when I was back home, when I was 20, I lost like 3 of my best friends to a car crash, right?
Wow.
So when that happened, dude, like, that day on, everything that happened, that was the first thing I thought. It wasn't about anything else. It was about, dude, I'm alive, And you know
they didn't get the chance to wake up.
No, dude, and like they don't get the chance to chase the dreams that they had, right?
Yeah.
And like that's when you go through something like that,
Yep.
it's so easy to flip that switch. So like I think people are always like even my girlfriend, right? I live with her every day. She's still to this day like interested with the fact that I can do that. But it's because I've been through something traumatic like that, where it's like my thought right when somebody complains goes to that. Like
Pressure
and goes
makes
to them.
diamonds, bro.
Yeah.
Pressure makes diamonds.
And goes to them too. Like it goes somebody complains, the first thing that says is dude, you're alive. Second thing it says, dude, they're not alive, right?
Yep.
So those two things happen, and then that's what clicks in my head. Dude, stop complaining.
I was pissed off too. I was pissed off as fuck, bro. Like I was just like, you know, in high school when you're just like pissed off at the world for like a couple years, like some people never break out of that, and like I could have easily not broken out of that. Like I was just like, fucking, let me just smoke weed, let me just fucking like play let me just like get I'm just like I don't know who I am, right? And like when you don't really know who you are, like you're just kind of like pissed off like for no reason, right? Like,
Yeah.
And as you grow, you realize like for me, like, and obviously that experience is like really unfortunate, and I'm sorry for your loss, and but like everybody, I feel like hopefully, you know, has some kind of thing where they make a realization. Like for me, it was just my friends leaving. Like that's really all it was for me. Like me going to community college, and I've said this on this podcast so many times, but like being like, nobody's here. Like it's just me. Like everything that was my entire last 4 years is gone.
Yeah.
The school is gone. It's not going there anymore. All the friends left. Like I had like 2 that would stay. Like I have to go to work. I have to go to community college. I don't know anybody. Like even that, you know. And like obviously your experience was a lot more sun. It was a lot more like difficult on you. Like my people, you know, they just moved to a different location. But even that, like you don't need something bad to happen.
No,
like, you can just make the realization.
100%.
Grateful, and
like, it's better that way. You'd rather it that way, you know. You'd rather be able to realize it in a situation that's
in the state that you can say that to these people. Like
100%, because I've done.
You did both.
Yeah, I've done both. Exactly. And like, you know, like yeah, dude, it's a wake up call for sure. And like I think that it's something that that like you can really like draw so many different lessons from it. And it's crazy, and like that type of situation just stays with you for the rest of your life. Like you can't, it's not even like the sorrow or like being like upset about it. Like it's been 3 years now. Like I'm at peace with what happened. You know, like they're where they are. Like it is what it is. I would never have wanted that to happen. Still don't.
Facts.
But you have to come to terms with that. But the best way to be able to like live that out to its fullest is to be able to like put that into every situation that you come across. And like that's when
fuel, man. That's it. Like
fuel, gratitude, and like all these different things that teach you these lessons.
Perspective. Like,
perspective.
All parts it in. And like,
exactly.
There's gonna be days when you're like, fuck all this shit.
You
know, and fuck, man, like you're always gonna you're just gonna have the next day, you're gonna have the next hour, the next minute to change it. It's up to you. Like and I don't want to get out into the fucking motivational bullshit. Honestly, for me, like I hate motivation. I think it's stupid. I relied on Kai Green videos of like fucking let's go, right, to like work out and shit, because that's all I had, because I didn't have the internal, right? And like you built, like I think both of us have built that up. Like it's about the discipline, like because with discipline you make the motivation in yourself. Like you get up every day, like it's not just because of your friends. Like you could say that and then still not, you just feel bad about that, use it as fuel and still not wake up. Like it's about building the discipline
100%.
in yourself. Like you shouldn't need the video, the music, the like I forget what's his name. I think his name is Jay Cutler. Like I used to be really into bodybuilding, and he's a huge bodybuilder. He's like, I've never used music in the gym. He's like, I don't need it. He's like, I feel everything. Like he's like, I don't want to get turned off from it. And David Goggins too, another one. Like, motherfucker, turn that fucking music off. Like, you know, what happens when you don't have it? You know, like, so, and that's just back to the thing. Like, it's just a discipline, and obviously you built that up, and we can belabor this point as much as we want, but that's it, man. Like that shit. That's the real, bro.
No, 100%. And that's like, those are just things you have to develop. There's no choice in that.
And you know, talk about it on a podcast. That's it. Then go work.
Like,
Yeah.
that's what I try to do.
Yeah.
And I talk a lot, bro. It's obvious. Like, it's obvious. This is, like, also half the reason I do these things is, like, you know, I really like talking to people, but, like, I still go out and make the fucking songs. I still go out and I edit the fucking not as much as I should, but I try to edit the podcast.
Yeah.
I go to work. I make podcasts for other people for a living. Like, I DJ for a living. Like, I fucking do, like, I'm literally, like, doing dream jobs right now and, like, not getting paid $1 million, but, like, you guys just gotta do the work. Like, don't talk about the work. The work will talk for itself. The work talks.
100%.
Like, you're a business, you're an entity, you're a fucking commodity yourself, your brand, right? Like, that shit will do the talking. Like, just speak your truth, put it out to the world, fucking send it, man.
Exactly, dude.
That's it.
And I think that that's, like, important is, like, we should all see each other. Like, you should see yourself as a brand and as a business, even if you're not, and even if you don't know what a business really does.
Yep.
Because, like, there's strength to that, right? Like, building that image and it's not just about, like, fake image. It's about, like, real.
I know the people who buy the followers, and they got self-esteem issues.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you buy the image, you lost.
Yeah.
Like, it's Gary. If you're doing it for the money, you lost.
Yeah.
You know, and that's
100%.
facts, man. Honestly, like, this has been, like, probably one of the best podcasts I've had on BOPCAST. Like, no lie. I think there's so much gold in here, man. Like, you're just you're a gold machine, man. You just make gold and diamonds and shit. You pop them out.
I wish, bro.
And we meant to fucking go off on some, and we did. Honestly, we went off on some tangents, which is perfect. This is what I want.
Yeah.
Because we got, and folks who are watching or listening, wherever you're coming from, Instagram right now, or YouTube, or Anchor, or, you know, Apple Podcasts, it doesn't matter. You know, we did another podcast called the Freelance Network Podcast where we interviewed Mike about his business, his social media, everything he's built thus far. So if you want to get the more detailed approach, please go watch that one. But Mike, thank you for doing this, man.
Yeah, dude. No, amazing. Thank you.
So
it's a
once
good day.
Again,
good day of pods, dude.
It's a good day of pods. Like I say, that's a pod, baby. But
yes.
Where can people find you?
All right, so you guys can find me on @MikeJAnderson on Instagram, cover2marketing.com. TWO is spelt out. And yeah. Let's fucking connect and make some dope shit.
Let's get it. If you need any type of marketing done, just hit the man's up. I also work for the company as well, so let me know. Let us know. And ladies and gentlemen, there's been another episode of BOPCAST. You can find us anywhere that podcasts are found, even the ones that nobody uses. That's Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Anchor, Spotify, YouTube. We might still be on SoundCloud too. Shit, and the music's everywhere too. You know that. Sully and Mike Anderson for another episode of BOPCAST. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. BOPCAST. I should probably say it right next time. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, man.
That's it. That's a wrap.
Let's do it.
That's pot.